and welcome to my channel about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. Today we're going to be talking about where to live if you are living in the southern part of the Denver metro area. Let's get started. Also known as the Real Estate Gal. This is your first time tuning into my channel. Welcome. I cover all things about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado, including events to check out, neighborhoods to take a peek at, and things to do around town if you're visiting or are moving here. So in saying that, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is weekly. And as mentioned, my nickname is Katie the Real Estate Gal. So if you need help with buying, selling, or anything in between, I would be honored to earn your business. So you got to reach out, you got to call, text, or email, whichever method is best for you. So if you are looking to relocate to the Denver area, but you're not interested in downtown Denver or near downtown Denver specifically, then we're going to be covering 4 different locations that are south of the Denver metro area that you should definitely check out. So for each of these 4 areas, I'm going to be covering where they're located, what style of homes and what you can expect with the types of homes that are in those locations, the school district, as well as things to do and what this city is known for. The first place we're going to be talking about is Castle Rock. Castle Rock is located south of downtown Metro. You're going to take Interstate 25 all the way south. You're not going to go as far as Larkspur or Colorado Springs. I'd say it's a happy middle between Colorado Springs and the Denver area. So the nice thing about Castle Rock is that I-25, probably the most common busy highway that you're going to be taking, cuts straight through Castle Rock. So if you do have a commute that you do need to get to Denver or Colorado Springs, it is fairly easy to hop on that road, and you absolutely know that you're in Castle Rock because it has an iconic rock that looks like a castle on top of it, hence the name. There are about 76,000 people that live in Castle Rock, and there are over 150 neighborhoods. It is massively large and it is still growing. There are a lot of new builds, and as expected, the closer that you get to the interstate, the more kind of condos, apartment buildings, townhomes that you're going to find. The more that you get outside of that area, you're going to find a lot more space in your yard. Some homes have a little bit of acreage, some gorgeous views. There are a lot of hills and valleys in Castle Rock, but nonetheless, it is going to be a lot of single family homes. You're going to find 2-car garages, 3-car garages, and some really great community vibes. There are some communities that will have HOA fees and dues, but there are going to be perks along with that, such as community centers, pools, community events, and that kind of rolls into the type of school district you're going to find in Castle Rock, which is the Douglas County School District. One of my friends lives in Castle Pines, which is just north of Castle Rock, and she moved there with her family because of the great school district that Douglas County provides. Now, things to do in Castle Rock. So Castle Rock is its own city, and you really don't even need to leave Castle Rock in order to attend a lot of different events. There's a lot of concerts, summer series that goes on, such as movies in the park, outdoor amphitheaters. There are 87 miles of trails. There are 50 well-planned out parks and over 6,000 acres of open space. If you're interested in joining a recreational center or rec center, you can join the MAC, which has pools and hip-hop classes for adults or kids. There are trampolines and batting cages, so much to choose from. And then also, if you're driving on 25, you're going to be passing the Castle Rock outlets. So a lot of brand name stores that will be recognized across the United States, and then some chain restaurants and some well-known to-go eateries and big box stores. There is also a fair amount of small businesses that are located in Castle Rock, like Schleppy's Italian and Big Box and Black Rock Cafe. Always great to support local, so I try to put in a plug any chance I get. The second location to check out if you're looking to live in the southern part of the Denver metro area is Parker, Colorado. So Parker is southeast of downtown Denver, and it is a little bit more tricky to get to than something with ease of access such as Castle Rock. So with Parker, you might have to take 470 to get there, which is a toll road, or if you're going south on 25, you can cut up through Castle Rock to Parker. It's a little bit more secluded, and in that sense, it's gonna have its own community vibes. So if you do have to commute and take 25 every day to either go to Denver Denver or to Colorado Springs, Parker might not be the best bet for you. But it does have a great access to our airport via 470, and it is on the east side of I-25. So if you are a frequent visitor of the mountains, take that into consideration, that travel time might be a little bit longer too. Now with Parker, the more north that you go of Parker, you're gonna find more affordability in houses, townhouses, and condos. And then the more south that you get is where a lot of the new builds are being built. And depending on the location, there are a ton of rolling hills and open space. I know that anytime I go to Parker and I'm going south on 25 and then cutting over, there's almost a huge area of dead zone where there's no houses being built. It's just completely open land, no trees. And then all of a sudden, that's where the houses erupt. But nonetheless, Parker was very well thought out. It is very open. And if you like to be amongst the trees, Parker might not be a great fit for you. However, there are a couple communities, such as the Timbers, which has some really established trees. It's almost like it popped out of nowhere. The landscaping is immaculate. You have a lot of square footage on your land. And then in communities such as the Pinery, you're gonna have a little bit more of older builds. You can tell that the landscape and the houses are more established than the newer communities, such as Makanta and Montaigne, to name a few, but they are constantly building in Parker. And it is growing in population. There are about 64,000 people that live in Parker, but that number keeps growing, especially with how much construction is going on. The styles of homes are super modern. There are 2-car garages, 3-car garages. There are also private golf courses, such as the Pinery has a golf course that you need to be a resident in order to be able to golf there. Then there are also some communities that have equestrian features for horse riding and stables. You definitely don't feel that you are in Denver. It is more spread out, and so commercial isn't terribly present. It will take you a little bit longer to get to grocery stores or to kind of a shopping area. And Parker doesn't really have a centralized shopping area. They are pretty close to Southlands Mall, but if you do need to go shopping, I'd probably recommend going to the Castle Rock outlets. So that's one thing that Parker doesn't have, is a downtown area. And I just realized I forgot to cover the school district. It is also Douglas County School District, which is what Castle Rock is, as well as Highlands Ranch. They are rated number 17 of overall schools and rated number 4 for schools with athletes. Now for things to do in Parker, Parker has a huge sense of community. One of the things Parker is known for is Parker Days. Brings over 300,000 people over the course of a weekend. There is Old Town Parker and O'Brien Park, which is where it's located. They have a little carnival festival kind of set up. There are a ton of booths and vendors. And then the tailgate is the poppin' place to be. They have live bands play all the time. And then you get your regular patrons. Some other things to do is to visit the Pace, which is Parker Arts, Culture, and Event Center. They have lectures, science day, family enrichment series, summer camps. You're gonna find a lot of country clubs that are in the city of Parker. And again, a ton of open space, trails. They have a planning committee. I actually was on YouTube and I got to see, it almost looks like a little bit of a court setting, but it's for patrons of Parker to protest different changes that people are making to the community or to promote enhancements, such as O'Brien Park is getting a facelift and making it a little bit more safer and improving their landscaping. So no matter the price range, Parker really has so much to offer for any age range and any income level. Moving on to the third location to check out, you gotta check out Littleton. If you haven't been to Littleton, there is so much to do. It covers so much space. It is located southeast of downtown Denver Metro on the west side of 25. So it really hugs the mountains. The interesting thing though is just because it hugs the mountains doesn't mean you have spectacular views of the mountains. So there are actually some really great places in Parker, which is on the complete opposite side, that have better mountain views than some places in Littleton. However, if you are a frequent traveler to the mountains, Littleton is definitely a place to check out. There are also some locations in Littleton that are off the beaten path, if you will, such as Roxborough Park, Ken Carl, and Sterling Ranch. To give a overview of Littleton, you really have to check out another video that I've done purely on Littleton. There is such a big variety because it covers so much space. So some of the areas of Littleton, the houses are built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 1970s ranch style homes. Very unique and really fun to look at. You're not gonna find that cookie cutter style in Columbine, which is a little neighborhood of Littleton, but you will find a little bit more of that of the modern style if you're going to Sterling Ranch. Sterling Ranch is a smart community and it is so cool. They have fiber optics. All of the houses are wired for solar panels. They're really thinking futuristic plans with Sterling Ranch. There will be a plethora of community centers. They build one community center for X amount of homes. I think it's every 3,000 homes, they have their own community center. So pools, all of the homes have smart features to them. If a child goes missing, the street lights will flash a certain color, and they'll also help guide you home. If you're walking home, the light path lights up because of solar energy. They also have electric car charging ports, and this entire community essentially could be living off the grid. Such a cool concept, but completely polar opposite, and it's still located in Littleton. So like I said, Littleton has quite a variety of styles of homes. Littleton is currently sitting at number 3 of top school districts in Colorado. And if you're interested in charter or private schools, Littleton would be a good location for you to check out. And it has those historic vibes to it. There's also some breweries to go to, mom and pop shops, salons, bars, and independently owned businesses. I don't see too many homes for sale in Littleton. People that have been there forever. From a lot of the places that I visited in Littleton, it's the place where you go and visit because that's where your parents raised you and your parents are still living there. So it's a little bit of an older community vibe depending on where you are in Littleton, like I mentioned earlier. But the variety is immense. The vicinity to the mountains is fantastic. And the level of uniqueness that Littleton has, it's a place that you just have to go and drive around just to see the level of contentment there. All right, our fourth and final location that is south of the Denver Metro is going to be Highlands Ranch. I would consider Highlands Ranch to be part of the Denver Metro, but it is still south of downtown. Highlands Ranch is a master planned community. It is essentially a rectangle that was very well thought out. There aren't too many new builds that are in Highlands Ranch. It's pretty established from the 1990s to 2000s. And I would say Highlands Ranch has vibes to it. So if you're walking through a house, you're gonna find a lot of sheetrock that has the corners that are curved over. There are gonna be the thick railings that go throughout the house. Unless these features have been updated, Highlands Ranch style is pretty recognizable from the interior of homes. There are a few select homes that don't fall into that kind of Highlands Ranch typical standard, and that is in backcountry. There are more luxurious homes there and a few new builds, but I wouldn't bank on finding a ton of those updated modern style homes that have just been built in Highlands Ranch. Some areas in Littleton or Parker might be a little bit of a better fit for you. Depending on where you are in Highlands Ranch, you could be a little bit closer to Littleton, a little bit closer to the mountains, or you can be closer to 25, but you are still gonna be on the west side of 25. So commuting, depending where you are, it might be easy to hop to go to downtown Denver, or it might be a little bit of a challenge because the main road that goes through does have lights to it. There is the feel that the roads are a little bit wider, making it a little bit more spacious. But depending on what your activities are that you like to do on nights and weekends, I'd be careful in selecting where you want to be in Highlands Ranch. I have a couple that just bought a house because they wanted to be super close to Chatfield State Park. So they are completely fine with the commute time during the week because on the weekends, they get to take their boat out at Chatfield. It is a massive state park that has camping, boating, paddleboarding. There's a dog park, a ton of open space. And of course, you don't have to be a resident to go there. I believe parking per day is $10, or you can get an annual pass if you are a frequent traveler there. During the summer, Chatfield is popping with people. And then going back to the styles of homes with Highlands Ranch, you are going to find a lot of single family homes that have attached garages, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. The space and acreage that you'd get there, I wouldn't call it acreage. You're going to find a lot of neighborhoods that are in Highlands Ranch, but there are still green belts, which are really highly desirable to have your backyard open to a green belt. Sometimes there is a walking path back there, sometimes it's just open space. But then with a metro district, district, keep in mind that Highlands Ranch, no matter where you're looking, you're probably gonna have some sort of HOA. But I would take into account for your lender if you are getting a loan on a home, because it might teeter your debt to income ratio a little bit. Now, a lot of the HOAs that I see in Highlands Ranch are gonna be quarterly, and they're about $160, depending on the community, of course. So that's gonna be money that's going towards keeping up with the community center, the pool, tennis courts, whatever is included. Typically, they're a little bit more minimal than what you could get in some other communities, but it could average about $40 a month. So not scary whatsoever. And there were a couple neighborhoods that I found that had voluntary HOAs, which I've never heard of. So you can pay into the HOA if you so choose, but if you don't want to, that's okay too. It's a really bizarre feature. Now, Highlands Ranch doesn't have a central shopping kind of district, but they do have grocery stores and shopping pretty much at each of the four corners. I wouldn't necessarily say that one side is going to be better than the other, but at least you know you're going to be within about 15 minutes to get to a grocery store or Target or gas station. And then with the planning, they have about 2,500 acres of open space, 75 miles of trails, and 25 well-planned parks. Now that was a really broad view of 4 different locations that are south of downtown Denver. If you have any questions on any of them, you gotta reach out to me with my phone number or email, whichever method is best for you to reach out, or please check out some of my other videos that I've done specifically on these locations. Regardless, if you are looking to relocate to the Denver metro area, a little bit south, a little bit north, I would be honored to earn your business. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.